Hello there, and welcome to Unqualified Opinions. I'm Marko Jerkovic.
And I'm Beiermann.
And today we're going to be breaking down ESPN's Week 4 NFL Power Rankings. Instead of doing our own, we will critique ESPN's. But before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your own unqualified opinions in the comments section down below. One quick thing before we get started. I have seen the Power Rankings, Will has not, so he's going in blind. So let's get started. Number 10 is the Kansas City Chiefs.
That feels about right for now. I think we can all agree that they're definitely, they're a better team than the number 10. They're not the number 10 team in the league in like skill and everything, but for their record right now and how they've played.
How they've performed. And then number 9 helps number 10 make more sense. Number 9 is the LA Chargers, who of course beat the Chiefs and lost on a last-second field goal to the Cowboys. Other than that, they've played quite well, especially against the Chiefs, where it looked like they jumped out to a little bit of a lead, but it kind of felt like the Browns game where all of a sudden the Chiefs took control, but somehow the Chargers kept pace and outperformed Kansas City late, so that was kind of surprising. So they have the Chargers at number 9. At number 8, they have the Arizona Cardinals. In my eyes, it feels a little bit low, and I know they've been close victories. I mean, relying on the Vikings to miss a last-second field goal is actually not the worst strategy in the world for an undefeated team. I mean, 3-0 is 3-0, and that seems a little low.
Yeah, and from what I've seen from other websites and other like TV networks and stuff, 8 is pretty low for where most people have the Cardinals right now. And yeah, Marko, I will agree. Betting on the Vikings missing a game-winning kick is actually a great strategy. A lot of teams do it. You can count on that one.
You really can. So number 7 is the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, a team that has had a shaky start to the season, although an extremely impressive victory over the Kansas City Chiefs in primetime. But they've kind of been back and forth in their other games. And again, this is obviously ESPN's not projecting out to what Baltimore can become. It's what they are right now, and their performances up until this point. I think 7's a fair spot.
I think it's a little high. I would have the Chargers over them. I would definitely have the Cardinals over them.
The issue that
the Chiefs win is the big bumper, of course.
That's the thing. The thing you'll see in this list is they kind of obviously give the head-to-head tiebreaker, so then that kind of creates a hierarchy where, so obviously the Chiefs lost to the Chargers, who are now at 9, and then Baltimore is at 7, but then now the Browns are at 6 at 2-1, even though obviously the Chiefs had an extremely impressive comeback win over them. So this back 5 of the top 10 is kind of a mishmash. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but the teams are put kind of where they feel they should be, and I don't mind that, actually.
Yeah, looking at 6, I like the Browns there. I think the Browns are going to be a really fun team.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird to see. I mean, the big issue with them is the same thing my Lions have. It's been culture. It's just been this weird gray cloud that hangs over your organization. It really looks like the Browns have started to lift that. Myles Garrett, 5.5 sacks, leading the league. Baker's been pretty good. You know, he's played up to the level they need him at. The Browns look like a for real team so far.
They thrashed the Bears, and the Bears have looked competent until this point. And of course, Andy Dalton is probably a much better quarterback than Justin Fields at this moment.
At this point, calm down. Calm down.
Well, yeah, at this moment.
Talking to the listeners, Marko.
And he really was exposed by of course, a top 5 Browns defense. And so we'll see if Cleveland, when they play more quality competition, they seem to really, really run over weak teams. But just like with the Chiefs game, they struggled with equal or better opponents. So number 5, I'm not sure I agree with this one being this high, although again, they did beat the Ravens. It's the Las Vegas Raiders at number 5. Your thoughts?
They're a weird, I think we talked about them when we were making the preseason videos. Like we talked about, they're the one team that I don't think I can ever predict where they're going to be, because they haven't changed the roster much over the past couple seasons, but we've seen some dramatically different results. I definitely think they're a good team. Yes, I don't think 5 is where they should be. I think Derek Carr has really impressed me a ton with his play. He's probably playing the best football of his career. But I don't know, 5 feels high, but based on the fact that they're 3-0 and they have some quality wins, it's hard to put them any lower.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I trust Denver more than I trust Las Vegas right now.
No way.
I do, just because I don't know how much I can, Baltimore, they have no running backs and the receivers refuse to catch the ball. Pittsburgh, Big Ben is a mess. They have a great defense, but their offense can't do anything. And Miami, who is already probably a fringe playoff team, lost Tua in the game against Las Vegas.
Yeah, but the Broncos'
Right.
opponent's combined record is 0-9.
Exactly.
And I feel like defensively, they've been bend, don't break. I just feel like Teddy Bridgewater has to play perfect for them to be an elite team. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I feel like the Broncos the wheels could fall off really easily.
But just the Broncos are well outside this top 10, and to have Vegas all the way at 5, it seems like that's too big of a gap. But anyway, moving on, number 4, they have the Green Bay Packers, which I think is interestingly high for a team that has a really bad loss and also not the best performance against your Lions. But I guess who else would you put it for?
I don't know.
They're not necessarily ranking teams by record. It's just by performance, and it seems like potential.
The Saints, that loss has continued to look worse and worse the past couple weeks. I mean, it was a bad loss to begin with, just based on the margin of victory for the Saints. But I mean, if the Saints had kept rolling, if Jameis had kept being not Jameis, then it would look like a pretty solid win at least. But I mean, as poorly as he's played at times, as the Saints played his time, that loss is continuously losing value for the
Packers. And I think a lot of people, just like with the next team we'll talk about, I don't think that people hold a lot of stake in week 1 losses because people are getting their footing. So speaking of that, number 3 is the Buffalo Bills, who had a really rough loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who look well below mediocre, in games other than that Buffalo game. Buffalo at number 3, probably at least right now playing like the best team in the AFC.
Agreed.
And certainly a Super Bowl contender, although I would say that the almost any of these top 10 teams could be Super Bowl teams, but especially these top 5 or 6, and then Kansas City, who's just ranked low because they have 2 losses. Josh Allen looks like an MVP.
Yeah, Josh Allen, he struggled a lot. I mean, by his standards, he struggled. Compared to a lot of quarterbacks, he was doing good, but given his normal standard of play, week 1 and week 2 were tough. He had some turnovers, but yeah, he just shredded the Dolphins, and the Dolphins aren't a terrible defense or a terrible team by any means. The Bills are probably my pick for the AFC so far, and that's even me kind of accounting for the Chiefs going back to normal. It's just I think the Bills have it this year.
Yeah, and so number 2 is 2 NFC teams that just played. Number 2, obviously the team that lost that matchup, they put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who really looked like they were struggling to stop the air raid attack of Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, and Cooper Kupp. And of course, not to say that defense was the strong suit for Tampa Bay. They were well-rounded last year, but that was slightly alarming, I would say. But the Rams are a great team, so I guess we'll just say, obviously, LA Rams at number 1, Tampa Bay at number 2. What are your thoughts on those 2 teams and where they're ranked?
There's no other way you can put it right now.
For sure, the top 2 teams, I would say.
For sure. I mean, the Buccaneers had a bad loss to the Rams, but it's still really difficult for me to put any. I mean, they played so well the first 2 weeks. It's hard for me to put any teams above them besides the Rams. And the Rams have really impressed me. I mean, I know we talked in great detail on the podcast, off the podcast, when Matthew Stafford left the Lions. And I think the big joke I kept telling you and Paul was like I just want him to be happy. And I mean,
well, he got it.
Yeah, he got it. And he's popping off. The Rams just click right now. Their defense is underrated, but I think mostly as Stafford keeps playing like he's played and that receiver core stays healthy, they're going to be probably the toughest team to stop on offense all year.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of comparisons you could draw with Matthew Stafford. I suppose one could even be Drew Brees, who started off his career with the Chargers, didn't exactly have all the assets, all the weapons, and then 3 or 4 years into his stint with the Saints, a good head coach, a lot of weapons, won a Super Bowl. I think there's a lot of examples of that
and
in all sports and in all leagues. And
Stafford's disadvantage is going to be that, unlike Breeze, he waited a long time to leave his previous situation.
Well, if the quarterback for the number 2 team is any indication, it's never too late in the NFL, especially at quarterback, what is Matthew Stafford, probably in his early to mid 30s?
Oh, I think he's 32. I mean, you can quarterback for a long time. I was mostly talking about how Stafford's Hall of Fame case, which he has stats.
His stats and one Super Bowl win would be enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
which he could probably get in the next 4 to 5 years with this roster.
That's what I was talking about with him joining late.
So he's 33. He'll be 34 in February. So that's ESPN's top 10 power rankings for week 4. Let us know if you enjoyed it. We can be back doing this every week instead of listening to our power rankings, our extremely unqualified power rankings. Maybe you can just listen to us critique the big boys at ESPN. So let us know if you like that, or if you have any other video ideas down in the comment section down below.
We'd love to take suggestions, love to see what you guys want to hear from us. Let us know.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.